Welcome to Week 12 of the Grant Architect course and the beginning of Phase 4 on Execution and Administration. This week focuses on submission, review, and resubmission, with the guiding theme of crossing the finish line and handling the result. This first lesson addresses final assembly and quality assurance, covering pagination, PDF conversion issues, file naming conventions, and checklists for completeness. The final assembly stage is where many proposals fail unnecessarily. You may have written brilliant content, developed compelling arguments, and assembled strong evidence, but if your proposal is missing required elements, formatted incorrectly, or contains errors that careful review would have caught, you undermine all that work. Some funders will reject non-compliant applications without review. Others will view errors as signals of carelessness that reflect poorly on your ability to manage a grant. This lesson teaches you how to prevent those failures through systematic quality assurance. By the end of this lesson, you will understand how to conduct final assembly methodically, catch errors before submission, and ensure your proposal package is complete and professional. The skills covered here apply to every grant application you will ever submit. Final assembly requires a different mindset than content creation. Understanding this shift helps you approach this stage correctly. Shift your focus from creating content to verifying quality. During drafting, you think about what to say and how to say it. During final assembly, you think about whether everything is correct, complete, and compliant. These are different cognitive tasks. Do not try to edit content while doing final assembly. Those tasks interfere with each other. Complete your content first, then shift entirely to quality verification. Fresh eyes matter because fatigue blinds you to errors. You have been working intensively on this proposal. Your brain has become accustomed to seeing what you expect rather than what is actually on the page. Take breaks before final review. If possible, let the proposal sit overnight before doing final assembly. Coming back with fresh attention reveals errors you missed when fatigued. A systematic approach uses processes rather than memory to verify completeness. Do not trust yourself to remember all requirements. Create checklists, follow procedures, use tools that catch what human attention misses. Your memory is fallible, especially under deadline pressure. Systematic processes are reliable. Time buffer means final assembly requires dedicated time rather than last-minute rushing. Build at least 1 to 2 days into your schedule specifically for final assembly. Rushing through quality assurance defeats its purpose. Many submission failures occur because applicants underestimated the time needed for final review. A compliance matrix is your primary tool for ensuring completeness. Creating and using this matrix systematically prevents omissions. Start with the source document by extracting every requirement from the Notice of Funding Opportunity verbatim. Go through the NOFO line by line and capture each requirement in exact language. Do not paraphrase or summarize. Use the funder's exact words. This precision prevents misinterpretation and ensures you address requirements as stated. Organize requirements into categories that help you track different types of compliance. Eligibility requirements establish whether you can apply at all. Content requirements specify what your narrative must address. Format requirements dictate page limits, margins, fonts, and structure. Attachment requirements list supporting documents. Certification requirements identify assurances you must sign. Create verification columns that document where each requirement is addressed, what page number contains the response, who verified compliance, and when verification occurred. These columns create accountability and an audit trail. You can demonstrate exactly how and when compliance was verified. Treat the matrix as a living document that you update throughout proposal development, not just at the end. As you draft sections, note where requirements are addressed. This ongoing tracking prevents the end-of-process panic of discovering unaddressed requirements. A matrix updated throughout development catches gaps while you still have time to fix them. Pagination errors are common and potentially fatal to your application. Careful attention to page limits and numbering prevents these problems. Page limit compliance is critical because exceeding limits may result in removal of excess pages without review. Some funders are explicit that they will not read anything beyond the page limit. Others may simply remove excess pages, potentially cutting off your conclusion or critical content. Never exceed page limits. If you are close to the limit, verify that your count matches the funder's counting method, which may differ from your word processor's display. Continuous numbering ensures page numbers are sequential and accurate throughout the document. When proposals are assembled from multiple files, numbering errors commonly occur. Pages may be missing numbers, numbers may repeat, or sequences may have gaps. Print your final document and manually verify that page numbers run continuously from beginning to end. Section breaks require verification that new sections start where you intend. Section breaks in word processors can behave unexpectedly, sometimes creating blank pages or resetting numbering. Check that each major section begins on a new page if required and that section breaks have not introduced unintended blank pages that count against your limit. If your proposal includes a table of contents, confirm that page numbers in the table match actual page locations. Tables of contents generated automatically can become outdated if you add or remove content. Update your table of contents as the last step before final conversion and verify accuracy manually. Format specifications seem minor but can determine whether your proposal is reviewed. Careful verification ensures compliance with these technical requirements. Font requirements are often mandated with specific typefaces and sizes. Common federal requirements include Arial, Times New Roman, or similar fonts at 11 or 12 point size. Some funders specify approved fonts explicitly. Using unauthorized fonts may result in rejection. Verify font requirements in the NOFO and check that your entire document uses compliant fonts, including tables, figures, and footnotes. Margin requirements establish the white space around your text. The standard federal requirement is typically 1 inch on all sides, though some funders specify different measurements. Do not reduce margins below requirements to fit more content. Reviewers notice margin manipulation, and some systems automatically check margin compliance. Verify margins are correct throughout, including in sections imported from other documents. Line spacing requirements specify whether text should be single-spaced, double-spaced, or some other spacing. Requirements may differ for body text versus certain elements like references. Verify spacing throughout the document, as copying and pasting from other sources can introduce inconsistent spacing. Headers and footers may be required or prohibited depending on the funder. Some require specific information in headers such as your organization name or proposal title. Others prohibit headers and footers entirely or exclude them from page counts. Verify whether headers and footers are allowed, what content they should contain if required, and whether they count toward page limits. PDF conversion introduces problems that do not exist in your source document. Understanding these challenges helps you catch and fix conversion issues. Font substitution occurs when fonts in your source document are not embedded in the PDF. If the system reading your PDF does not have your fonts installed, it substitutes similar fonts that may have different character widths. This substitution can change line breaks, page breaks, and overall layout. Embed fonts when creating PDFs to prevent substitution. Verify that your final PDF displays fonts correctly. Graphic shifts happen when images and charts move during conversion to PDF. Graphics positioned precisely in your word processor may appear in different locations in the PDF. Tables may break across pages differently. Charts may resize unexpectedly. Always open your converted PDF and scroll through every page to verify that graphics appear where you intended. Link functionality may be lost in PDF conversion. Hyperlinks that work in your word processor may become inactive in the PDF, appearing as plain text rather than clickable links. If your proposal includes links that reviewers need to access, test them in the final PDF. Some funders prefer or require that links be spelled out as full URLs rather than embedded. File size can become problematic with PDFs containing high-resolution images or complex graphics. Large files may fail to upload to submission systems, exceed size limits, or take excessive time to transfer. Verify file size limits before conversion and compress images if necessary. Test that your file uploads successfully to the submission system before the deadline. A thorough PDF verification process catches problems that quick glances miss. Following this process systematically protects your application. Full review means opening the PDF and examining every page, not just sampling a few pages. Problems can occur anywhere in the document, not just at the beginning. Scroll through the entire PDF page by page, verifying layout, formatting, graphics placement, and text appearance. This complete review takes time but catches problems that partial review misses. A print test reveals display issues that may not be apparent on screen. Print the document and examine the hard copy. Some formatting problems are more visible in print than on screen. Printing also helps you catch errors by engaging different cognitive processes. You read differently on paper than on screen. Keep a printed copy to review alongside your screen verification. Checking the PDF in different viewers ensures compatibility across systems. Your PDF may look perfect in one reader, but display problems in another. Open your PDF in Adobe Reader, in a web browser's built-in viewer, and on a mobile device if possible. Reviewers may use various systems. Verify your document works across common platforms. Verify accessibility by confirming that text is selectable and searchable rather than rendered as images. Reviewers may want to copy text, search for terms, or use accessibility tools. If your PDF consists of scanned images rather than actual text, these functions will not work. Ensure your PDF is text-based and that all text is properly recognized. File naming may seem trivial, but incorrect naming can cause submission failures. Following conventions carefully prevents these problems. Funder specifications often mandate specific naming formats. The NOFO may require files named with your organization name, project title, or specific identifiers in a particular order. Some electronic systems perform automated validation and reject files that do not match expected patterns. Read naming requirements carefully and follow them exactly, including capitalization and separator characters. Character restrictions apply to most electronic systems. Spaces in file names can cause problems on some systems. Special characters like ampersands, question marks, or quotation marks may be rejected. Excessively long file names may be truncated. Use underscores or hyphens instead of spaces. Stick to alphanumeric characters. Keep names reasonably short while still descriptive. Descriptive names help reviewers identify documents quickly. When reviewers download your attachments, they see file names in their download folder or file manager. Names like document1.pdf or final.pdf provide no useful information. Names like organization name underscore budget justification.pdf help reviewers locate specific documents easily. Version control naming conventions help you and your team distinguish final versions from drafts. During development, you may create many versions of each document. Establish naming conventions that clearly identify which version is final for submission. Include dates or version numbers in working file names, but ensure final submitted files match funder naming requirements rather than your internal conventions. Attachments are frequently missing or incorrect in submitted applications. A systematic checklist process prevents these common failures. Create an attachment list from NOFO requirements that catalogs every required supporting document. This list should include the narrative sections, budget forms, bio sketches, letters of support, organizational documents, and any other required materials. Note which attachments are required versus optional. Check off each attachment as you verify its completion and inclusion. File verification confirms each file opens and contains the correct content. A file that exists but is corrupted, empty, or contains the wrong document is as bad as a missing file. Open every attachment and verify it contains what you expect. Check that letters of support are actually signed, that budget forms are actually completed, that appendices contain the promised materials. Order verification ensures attachments are in the required sequence if the funder specifies an order. Some systems require attachments uploaded in a particular sequence. Others may compile attachments in the order you submit them. If the NOFO specifies attachment order, follow it precisely. Verify that your final package presents attachments in the expected sequence. Size and format verification confirms each attachment meets specifications. Individual attachments may have size limits separate from total application size. Required formats such as PDF may differ from what you have. Verify each attachment is in the correct format and within size limits before attempting submission. Forms and certifications are legal documents that require careful completion. Errors in forms can invalidate your entire application. Standard forms for federal applications include the SF-424 application cover sheet, SF-424, a budget information, SF-424B assurances, and other forms specified in the NOFO. Each form has instructions. Follow them precisely. Complete every required field. Use consistent information across all forms. Verify form versions are current, as outdated forms may be rejected. Signature requirements specify that an authorized organizational representative must sign certifications. This is typically not the project director, but rather someone with legal authority to commit the organization, often an executive director or grants administrator. Verify who must sign each document and obtain required signatures before the deadline. Electronic signatures may be acceptable or required depending on the submission system. Date accuracy ensures forms show current dates rather than outdated ones from previous drafts or earlier applications. Forms completed weeks ago may show dates that no longer make sense. Budget period dates should align with the current competition. Certifications should be dated close to submission. Review all dates on forms to ensure they are accurate and current. Internal consistency requires that data on forms matches narrative content. The project title on SF-424 should match your narrative title exactly. Budget figures on SF-424A should match your detailed budget. Personnel listed on forms should match those described in your narrative. Inconsistencies suggest carelessness and create confusion about what you actually propose. Cross-reference verification catches inconsistencies between different parts of your proposal. These inconsistencies undermine reviewer confidence and create confusion. Budget narrative alignment ensures numbers cited in your text match your budget. If your narrative mentions hiring 2 research assistants, your budget should show 2 research assistant positions. If you describe purchasing specific equipment, that equipment should appear as a budget line item. Discrepancies between narrative descriptions and budget allocations suggest either careless writing or deceptive budgeting. Verify that every budgeted item is described in the narrative and every described expenditure appears in the budget. Personnel consistency means names and roles should be consistent throughout all documents. If you refer to the project director in one place and the principal investigator in another, make sure you mean the same person and use titles consistently. Names should be spelled identically everywhere they appear. Role descriptions should align across the narrative, budget justification, and organizational chart if included. Objective tracking verifies that objectives are referenced correctly in methods and evaluation sections. Each objective should have corresponding methods describing how you will achieve it and evaluation measures describing how you will assess achievement. If Objective 3 is to increase knowledge, your methods should describe activities intended to increase knowledge, and your evaluation should describe how knowledge change will be measured. Citation accuracy confirms that references cited in your text actually appear in your bibliography or works cited. Every citation in parentheses or footnotes should have a corresponding entry in your reference list. Conversely, your reference list should not include sources not cited in the text unless the funder requests a broader bibliography. The Fresh Reader Review uses someone unfamiliar with your proposal to catch problems you cannot see. This external perspective is invaluable. External eyes matter because someone unfamiliar with the proposal brings different attention than you can. You know what you meant to say, which can blind you to what you actually wrote. A fresh reader encounters your proposal as reviewers will, without the context in your head. Ask a colleague, friend, or professional contact to read your nearly final proposal. A clarity check assesses whether someone can understand your proposal without your explanations. If your fresh reader asks questions about things you thought were clear, those sections probably need revision. If they misunderstand your intent, your writing is not as clear as you thought. Do not explain or defend. Listen to their confusion as data about where your writing needs improvement. Error detection benefits from fresh eyes because readers unfamiliar with your content catch errors that familiarity blinds you to. You have read your proposal dozens of times and your brain has started skipping over familiar text without really seeing it. A fresh reader actually reads every word and notices the typo in paragraph 3 that you have missed 20 times. Fresh readers catch embarrassing errors before reviewers do. Time requirements mean you must schedule this review before your deadline crunch. If you wait until the last day, there is no time for fresh reader review. Build fresh reader review into your timeline at least several days before submission. Allow time to make changes based on their feedback before final assembly. A final assembly checklist provides the systematic verification that ensures nothing is missed. Walk through this checklist before every submission. Content complete means verifying that all required sections are present and within page limits. Return to your compliance matrix and confirm every required element is addressed. Count pages to verify compliance with limits. Check that nothing was accidentally deleted during revision. Ensure appendices and attachments that support your narrative are included. Format compliant means fonts, margins, and spacing meet specifications throughout the document. Check that formatting did not change during editing or file conversion. Verify compliance with all format requirements specified in the NOFO. Confirm that visual elements like tables and figures meet any formatting requirements. Files verified means all attachments open, contain correct content, and are properly named according to funder specifications. Open every single file and verify contents. Check that file names follow required conventions. Confirm that file formats and sizes meet requirements. Verify that electronic forms are properly completed and saved. Consistency confirmed means cross-references are accurate throughout the package. Budget numbers match narrative descriptions. Personnel names and roles are consistent. Objectives connect to methods and evaluation. Citations appear in references. All elements of the proposal package align and support each other without contradictions. This checklist should be printed and used physically, checking off each item as verification is completed and noting the date and person who verified each element. Understanding common final assembly failures helps you guard against them. These failures occur frequently and are almost always preventable. Missing attachments are among the most common failures. Applicants complete the narrative but forget to include required budget forms, letters of support, or organizational documentation. Some electronic systems do not validate attachment completeness, allowing submission of incomplete packages. Your checklist must verify every required attachment is included, not just assume they are present. Wrong versions result from submitting drafts instead of final documents. In the rush of deadline pressure, applicants sometimes attach old drafts, incomplete versions, or files with the wrong content. Multiple team members working on different sections increases this risk. Establish clear version control procedures and verify that submitted files are actually the final versions intended for submission. Unsigned forms occur when certifications lack required signatures. In the shift to electronic submission, signature requirements may be overlooked. Authorized organizational representatives may not be available at the last minute. Identify signature requirements early and obtain signatures before the final rush. Verify that signed versions are what you actually submit. Technical errors include corrupted files that will not open, incorrect file formats that systems reject, and failed uploads that leave your submission incomplete. Test every file by opening it. Verify formats meet requirements. Attempt submission with enough time remaining to address technical problems. Do not assume your first upload attempt will succeed. Have contingency time for technical difficulties. Let us summarize the key points from this lesson on final assembly and quality assurance. Systematic quality assurance prevents unnecessary failures that undermine otherwise strong proposals. Many rejected or failed submissions could have succeeded if applicants had caught preventable errors before submission. The time invested in careful final assembly protects all the time invested in proposal development. Essential tools for final assembly include the compliance matrix that tracks every requirement, checklists that ensure systematic verification, and fresh reader review that catches what familiarity blinds you to. These tools transform final assembly from anxious hoping into confident verification. Use them for every submission. The mindset shift required for final assembly is moving from creation to verification. During drafting, you think creatively about content. During final assembly, you think systematically about compliance. These are different cognitive modes. Complete your content first, then shift entirely to verification mode. Trying to do both simultaneously leads to errors in both. In our next lesson, we examine submission timing strategies. You will learn why submitting well before the deadline protects you from preventable failures and what to do when systems experience problems near deadlines. Practice exercise using the NOFO from a funding opportunity relevant to your work. Create a compliance matrix that captures every requirement. Include columns for where addressed, page number, verified by, and verification date. Use this as a template for your actual applications.